So many people will tell you no, and you need to find something.
So hey guys, how you all doing? I'm in Leeds. I've been doing Being the Difference today, and I've just come outside of Leeds. It's starting to get a bit dark now. At a place called Pudsey, an incredibly gorgeous place, and the views are amazing. But while I'm here this evening, what I wanted to do was to get into the old universal credit debate. So, but I think what we're going to do is let's get to the van, put the kettle on, and have a conversation.
You can rest but no resignation. You have to tough up yourself in the Gideon war. We not just don't give up, don't give up. No matter where you go through, and this me want to tell you, from your quit then you must lose. Just don't give up, don't give up. From your wake and the sky blue, and you see sun a shine through. Just go and make the next move. Yo, don't give up.
Hey guys, how you all doing? And we're in the back of the van. We finished our tea. I've had my soup, and my bread and soup, and yeah, I've tidied up, and we're here, back of the van, and it's universal credit time, vlog time. This one is taken me a few attempts to do actually, because I'm finding it really difficult. Because my original intention was to talk about universal credit in a positive light, bring in some of the negatives, but then get us to think about what we can do to change stuff. And in the meantime, what's happened is loads of things have come across my social media. But let's go back to the beginning when I was going to talk about universal credit being positive. It's super cool, universal credit. But David, how can you say that? Well, I can say it because I think actually when, as a policy, when it came out, the people behind it and thinking behind it came with some real positive intent. I have to believe that. And that actually the universal credit would make common sense. If you're running around all over the place for different bits of benefits, and actually you can bring it all in together into one phone call and one thing. I mean, back in the day, I remember when if you were on JSA and something went wrong with your JSA and it got stopped until you could sort it out, so did your housing benefit. And if you weren't careful, what would happen is there'll suddenly be a gap. You get your JSA back, but your housing benefit would have been cut, and a bit later on you'll find out that, and you've got to try and bring it all together, and that could be a real nightmare. So having a one place for everything seems the logical thing to do. But you know, when you talk about impact for people, the best way to, or one of the ways to go out and find about impact and how change is impacting on people is to go to the margins. So last year in my local area, when we brought universal credit in and there was a spike in begging, I went out to speak to the beggars and asked the guys, the guys who were begging, I asked the guys what was making them beg, and these are the answers. What do you think makes people beg?
Universal credit.
Well, universal credit. What else
We get paid once a month.
Universal credit is the most wickedest thing on earth. That's what's got me into the trouble what I'm in now.
With this benefit, I mean, you're getting normal people that are housed begging. Because of their benefits.
That was just a few of the answers, but I spoke to 12 people and interviewed all 12 on camera. Some of them on YouTube. Maybe find a link somewhere and put it somewhere for you. But there's if YouTube, our channel. You'll see them in there, some of the guys. There's some brilliant, beautiful, amazing people there. So, but universal credit was forcing people out into begging, because think of the logic here. So people are coming from a place often of trauma, 86%. About 86% of people who are caught up in multiple disadvantages, adverse childhood experiences, so they're caught up with lots of stuff going on in here. They've learned to self-medicate, they've mental illness, substance and alcohol misuse, all that stuff going on. Fine. What they've learned to do is find coping mechanisms through alcohol and drugs often, and they've learned how to manage that through the benefit system that they've been on for a long period of time, and keep mostly out of trouble and manage that. So all of a sudden what's happening is the payments of the big gap between getting paid, then when they start to get paid it's monthly, it's big sums of money. They can't manage that. They don't have the capacity or the resources often to go from something where there's been a long-standing thing for years to suddenly this huge change, and they've not managed it well. Understandably, to be honest, understandably. So that's one of the things. And the other thing is that guys were losing money. They were telling me they were a lot less or a lot worse off. And, you know, I'd sit and listen to them and go, yeah, okay. And I found it really difficult to comprehend that they were worse off. I couldn't see how just moving your money from one place to another place, they could lose some on the way. And then it comes out on my social media. I've just been reading some of the stuff that's been posted today about the government actually just shy of £1 billion on ESA, I think it is, that they've shortfalled people. There's another 700. So it's over £1.5 billion shortfall in money we've been giving to people. That is a lot of money. I'm not saying it's all universal credit, but that's a lot of money. And you know, the guys I was listening to, they were saying they were losing money. It makes sense. That's awful. And then I read also that actually there's a whole thing about not releasing the true figures. I would love the government to release the true figures, an impact that the changes in policy have had on people. They managed to stop that happening by 20 votes in Parliament. By the Labour Party were trying to get it through. But do you know what? Hey, and when you think about the universal credit and you think about the begging, the lack of money they get at people, and then you think about going back when the universal credit was coming out and the changes, and we don't hear so much about food banks, but the massive rise in people using food banks. There's a rise in homelessness, there's a rise in begging, there's a rise in all of these sort of things. Now, I'm not saying they're all universal credit, absolutely not, but there has to be a correlation here, doesn't there, or sort of universal credit is being rolled out across the country. It's the benefit system. People who are in poverty, and it's those who suffer the most, and those who end up on the streets and end up caught in the chaos and end up in trouble. Because so and I wanted to finish off on a high note because I didn't want just to have a rant, and so one of the things for me is that the recovery world is an amazing place. It's full of just such incredible people who've been through so many challenges, done so, oh man, they're amazing, beautiful human beings, amazing. So one of the things that the biggest gift the recovery world has got for the rest of the world is honesty. So my question would be this: if we want positive, sustainable, long-term sustainable change, positive change, you build it on a base of honesty. That's where you come from. It is from the recovery world, and I'm sure it is everywhere else. I'm not 100% sure for everywhere else too. What would happen if we took the policy of the universal credit and all the welfare reform that's going on, if we took that policy and applied honesty to it, and we had a look in all the dark corners, see what we would see? But surely we need to do that in order to make the changes that need to be changed or to be made to make this a good policy and to make this work. Surely we have to go to that place of honesty. I think so. If we want to end the suffering and the pain of people, and yeah, that's the place that we need to go. And I get that it can be challenging. Trust me, I'm an ex-addict, 17 years. I needed to go to a place of honesty to deal with all the honesty. It is seriously the best policy. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts, your comments. What do you think about universal credit? How's it affected you? Do you know people that it's affected? What do you think we should do with the policy of universal credit? If we take one side that actually it would be a good thing to have all the benefits under one roof and managed in one place, and that place of thought of honesty, and then we look at the chaos that it's causing here. I don't know, what are your ideas, what are your thoughts about how we can change it to make it a better place, or make the system a better place for people, to end the pain and the suffering? I think that's enough from me, from back in the van in Leeds. Hit the likes button, smash the, oh no, don't do any of that. Get your little clicker, click the like, click the subscribe. Love to see a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever it is, but most importantly, I'd like to hear your comments. Guys, until next time, stay safe.
Don't give up. Don't give up.